Hey everyone, Michael Diederich here. I'm just a poor boy today with a video that features not just my hands. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, please do. It would really help me out and I won't bug you anymore, at least during this video. So I just wanted to tell you real quick about this three-part series. This was not my intention. A couple nights ago, I was just doing a video about how to prepare a canvas board, and then I took that canvas board and was going to use it in just one of my regular videos. So I should be posting a video that features the swipe technique and then a time-lapse version of that same video. Now here's what happened. That swipe turned out awful. I mean, it was terrible. So I ended up throwing away most of the material, but I did save the canvas because it was still useful for my original idea, which was showing you how to tape off the back of a canvas board so that the paint doesn't seep under. Check that video out if you're looking for a cheaper way to acrylic pour without spending a lot of money on canvases. So after that was done, I realized I still have enough paint yet. I'm going to make a second attempt. So I taped off another canvas board and tried again. My second attempt also went wrong. I do have that video footage still. So the good thing is, in that video, which will be video part 2, you can see what I'm doing. And I noticed that a lot of people who have acrylic pour channels, they talk about, oh, I scrape canvases all the time. And yeah, if it goes wrong, I just scrape it. Yep, but they never show those videos. I think there's a little bit of ego and pride of not showing you, when it goes wrong. But I think it's valuable because in everything that I do, I teach workshops. I always talk about the fact that you always learn more from your mistakes than you do from your successes. Yeah. If it goes right, you might not necessarily why it went right. But if it goes wrong and you can figure out where it went wrong, you can change it and improve it for the next time. So I've decided to share these disasters with you. Now, the third part video is I actually took the second disaster and I turned it into a sellable piece of art. I'm calling that video From Piece Up to Masterpiece. Little piece there. So that's the three-part video. The first is all just set up and prep. You can see everything for that first video, and then you'll see that terrible final product, which is almost like a black painting. Then you'll see the second attempt where I kind of pick up from getting ready to pour again till the end and go, this is how it turned out. And then the third video where I take the second piece and I turn it into a work of art. So that's my three-part series. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you with another beginning to end pour, a start to art pour, and some new time-lapse videos very soon. Enjoy.
Hey everybody, it's Michael Diederich. I'm just a poor boy. Welcome. I'm going to be doing a swipe for you this evening. So let's get straight into it tonight. Let's look at these colors. Tonight I'll be painting on a canvas board. This is a 30 by 20. As you can see, I've already taped the back. I'm doing some experimenting tonight to see what the best way is to keep moisture from getting underneath the canvas board, which can be a problem. Your canvas can let loose. I've got some small marks on here to divide my areas up. I've got some paper towels and wipes ready to go, so we're going to get straight into it. I'm saving up this little 2 centimeter area here for my black later, and I'm going to start from here and go backwards so it's easier for me to spread my paints. I'm starting with the emerald green as the first color. It's got a pretty good consistency, and I'm just going to put some right here and create this first dividing line. Great. save a little here. I'm just going to just use now my palette knife to spread that out just a little bit. I don't want to hit the canvas. I don't want it to be too thin of a layer, but it doesn't have to be like super thick either. And again, this doesn't have to be perfect either. We do want kind of like equal amounts, but in the long run, because of this wipe, it's all going to turn out fine. Next, I'm moving on to that brilliant green. Check my consistency again. Good, this is perfect. Now I'm going to pour right up against that color. When I look at it and I check it, is it mounting? Is everything coming okay? It looks great. Then I pour it and I go, oh, it looks on the canvas a bit thicker than it does in the cup. But again, I am going to spread it, so it's going to be okay. Again, I'm just letting my palette knife go very lightly over the paint because I don't want to, you know, scrape it and get down to the canvas itself. Yeah, there should still be enough on there. I'm drawing up some pictures. I rent this place, but I just love this attic space. And when I was planning, I thought, oh, perfect place to paint. But then when I switched to go, oh, I'm going to do YouTube films, it was suddenly less handy. Okay, great. So this looks wonderful. I love the colors. People always look at this and go, oh, that's pretty. And then when they see the swipe technique for the first time, they always panic. And I'll show you that in a minute. And now let's get our lamp black. Good, pretty good. Yeah. It's definitely thinner than the rest. Thin enough? That's the question. I'm just going to give one little quick spray of water. You know, one of the tricks I use, people say when they're adding water, just add a little, and sometimes you go, oh, I poured too much. And I find with a spray gun, then you can really get just a minimal amount of water in there. Little trick if you're adding water instead of pouring it from a cup where you go, oh, I ended up pouring too much. Yeah, that's the worst when you're going, oh, it was just a little too thick and now it's a little too thin, and you just keep going back and forth. So with the lamp black, first I'm just going to go right on the edge because I want to make sure that I've got plenty. I want it to cover my edge. That's fine. Come in here, right over. Corner. Now you see with the black that even though it's a little bit thinner, I put it on with a more generous like a coat to go all around, because I want it to fill in here completely. Now I am going to use my palette knife just a little bit, but I don't want this to thin out too much, but I want to make sure that this black here, there we go, touches there, good. Now over this edge where this black is great. Great, everything's coated. It's a nice layer of black on there. Looking at it now, I said I don't want too much, take off too much, but I'm now just a little bit nervous as I look at it that, as I said, it's still a little thick in comparison, and if that's the case, and I go to swipe it, I might end up carrying quite a lot of it over. So I think I am, just for the sake of again, I don't want to take too much off, but this in my eyes looks awfully generous. Great. Wonderful. Okay, let's wipe off that palette knife because we don't need it anymore for now. Throw this away. I've got a little bit of this black left. So we're ready to do the swipe. Now, people use plastic card, people use playing cards, there's all sorts of stuff. For a swipe like this, I want my towel to be, I'm going to use paper towel, a little bit wider than my painting. So I like this heavy duty, and you don't need a whole lot of water. Now I don't want to get paint on my paper towel. Let's see, is that, can you get that? Yeah, just to give you an idea. Just enough to give it that nice little wet edge. It's not soaking. I am going to do it real quick, vertical, just 1, 2. Yeah. Now, the secret here is to make sure when you place your paper towel in your black that you don't go over the edge, because you'll end up then dragging over the edge and you'll have a bad mark in your paint. You also want to go straight in if you can, and then let it start lying flat, and try not to get any color in the paper towel yet. Yeah. So hopefully from the side you'll be able to see this a little bit better, and from the top you'll see where it's going. Now I'm going to just stretch my paper towel just a little bit. Great. I'm going to hold it a little bit low to start with. I'm going right near the edge. There it goes in. Good. Oop. That was not a very good one, but okay, it's in now. I just didn't want it to be uneven, and we're just simply going to now, with a light zigzag, pull slowly you can see already this is not good because there was too much waviness in the paper towel, so it wasn't touching the entire surface. That looks pretty though. My first dip was not very good. I'm going to just, instead of trying to be slow about it, I'm just going to put it in. There we go. That's better. Here we go. And now there's paint everywhere. interesting here. That's very, very pretty over there. I see my bubbles forming because that's now, and now I realize another great experiment, unknown, which is a lot of people say when you do your swipe color, make sure you put silicone in it. Some people, oh, you don't need it. Well, I think you might, because I forgot to put silicone in it. But let me get my heat gun and let's just see what happens when we give this a little bit of a blast. Let's see if we're going to get enough effects here. That's looking nice, but I think again my biggest problem is that the black was probably just not thin enough when I was pulling over the top of this. It's an interesting looking piece, but it's not really a good swipe. Also, forgetting the silicone was definitely a crime. It's late and I didn't even think about it. I didn't set it ready, which I normally would do. So I completely forgot about it. But let's see what happens. I'm just going to add now some. Add some more black. Thin it out a little bit. A little bit of silicone in there. Get it a little bit wetter this time so that it's got less bends in it. And I've also folded up near the top of my paper towel. Let's see here. So that there's a little bit more of a grip to it. Yeah? Here we go. This part over here is very, very pretty, but it's just not a swipe. But now those cells are coming up, so let's see what happens. Yeah, see? Now, again, I think my biggest problem was that my paint was too thick. In general, but my black paint especially. So this has just got too much coating over here that you go, yeah, too much of my painting is covered. These cells would have been nice, but yeah, it's not there. So this is not a piece that I go, okay, I'm happy. But now instead of adding more paint, I'm going to go for another swipe, believe it or not. Because I think if I can grab some of this black and get this even a little bit more water in my paper towel, which I normally advise against, I might be able to kill two birds with one stone. Yeah? Let's see what happens. Closer, there's still less black up on that side. Interesting enough. Do I want to just go again before? So I want to now go with less water now that I've thinned it out. Let's see what happens. Yeah, we're just experimenting now because, I mean, nothing could go wrong, and I'm using a canvas board, so it's not like I'm an expensive canvas. Okay, there's a big air bubble there. Let's use the torch first. But I just still think there's too much black paint on the canvas. And the question is, there's still enough green on the canvas. So I have seen a double. I'm going to try something again. I could just throw this canvas board away now. That's what I could do. But instead, I'm going to try something interesting. So I said to you before, don't start with your paper towel over the edge. But there's so much paint here that I can always touch that up. And I'm actually going to go right over the edge so I can get this paper towel flat. Yeah, and watch what I'm going to do this time. I'm going to really pull black. I'm going to try what I saw once before, which is, even with those colors in there, I'm going to go back over it again. Seeing all sorts of bubbles. The funny thing is, they might just have some hidden treasure underneath. Okay. I'm going to go for the torch first. So I'm going to stop screwing with the swipes now. But I am going to continue to do experimenting with the heat real quick. So I'm just going to use my gun again because the torch is nice, but I want this a little smoother. Okay, now I've got all sorts of really tiny bubbles, tiny cells. Still quite a bit of paint on there, and there's quite a bit of black on this side. So I'm just going to try and see what happens if I give it some tilting. Is it going to move at all? Oh, it's not really moving. So let's see. It's an awful lot of black still there. I think what I'm going to do, folks, is this. I am going to let it sit for a few minutes, and then I'm going to give it a torch again, and I'm going to come back and look at it in the morning. And the good news is I have all of these colors. I made like twice as much paint as I needed. So if I could take those other colors, all I'm going to do is then thin them all down, prep another canvas board, and give it another try if necessary. Because, I mean, there's some wonderful things happening in here, but for me, there's just too much black and there's too much texture, and that's really my own fault. I'm not making my paint thin enough. So I'm going to go ahead and torch this, but I'm going to go off camera for now. Give it a torch, and then if it looks good, you'll see it tomorrow. If it looks horrible, then you'll see a video where I've used these colors and I've started all over again, maybe. We'll see.